Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and I am very grateful to be back to doing my regular videos. I had problems with my iPhone. It was very shaky, so it was kind of like trying to watch something when it's moving a lot like this, and it was bad. So I have a new phone, and I'm very grateful for that. This is November 2021, and this is the month that people do another challenge called Gratitangles. And I had several people ask me if I planned to do a video for each of the Gratitangles, and I do not. There's just too much going on, and the challenge of doing Inktober, where there's 31 videos in 31 days, is a lot of work. And I've decided to do a few of the Gratitangles. And there is a Gratitangles group in Facebook. And within that group, there's a section called Files. And you can go there to get all of the step outs for each day of the Gratitangles, if you want to do that. There's also a website by Alice Hendon, and I just realized this should have 2 slashes there. AliceHendon.blogspot.com, and she has a list of all the patterns. And she also does the Tangle All Around Facebook group. And you can post your images in Tangle All Around or in Gratitangles or wherever you'd like on Instagram. If you happen to do that, give it a hashtag of Gratitangles so that we can see what you've done. Okay, I have decided to do these two. I believe that, let's see, this one is Ilac, I-L-A-C, which she said means I love African colors. And that one is day 5. And then Nayu by Emiko Kaneko is day 8. And I'm just going to kind of combine these a little bit. I'll show you one that I did while I was practicing this. And I'm not going to do this version. This right here is the actual pattern, like I showed you here. And so this is what I'm going to teach. And maybe one of these days coming up soon, I'll do a Zen Gym class for everybody. But we're going to do Nayu in the center of the tile. And then we're going to put Ilac around it. And I'll show you. It's going to look something like this. It's a way to get both of those patterns into one video, and hope you enjoy it. Let me show you how Ilac is done. It is kind of like what you call it, yin yang type thing. And basically, oh, before I forget, I'm using a Micron 01, a blending stump, and my graphite pencil. And I like to do just a straight line to follow. This makes a very pretty ribbon, or like this, it could kind of wind across the page. But the way it starts is you make kind of a loop, and then I'm going to come around on this side of that line that I did, and you make kind of like a fescue type pattern. And of course, I like to put a little bit of hatching in there. And then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to start my little loop, and then I'm going to come around and down next to this one and kind of echo it or aura it, however you want to say it, and then do my little lines again. Okay, so that's basically how that works. If I wanted to keep going, then I could come off of this one. I'm going to come around, make that little teardrop again. Mine are rarely the same size, and it's okay. I go with that again. Make that little loop and come around again. Okay, so that's basically how that one works. And on the back of one of these, here we go. This is some of my practice that you get to see. Here are some variations of how you can do Ilac, and these are all shown in the step outs online. And I have a no up here because this one just did not come out right. And so I am going to use a 4-inch by 4.5 inch tile that I cut myself that go into my disc binding system. And I'm going to start by putting a border because, like I say, I want to do this. And so I'm just going to put a line around to show where I'm going to put that border. And just very lightly. And I'm trying to do a square. Let's see, that's about that big. That one. Okay. If I'm using my pencil, that's about like a square. And I'm going to put Nayu in the middle of that square. And to do that, I want to put another square in the middle. Trying to center it. Okay. And next, I'm going to put a line down the very center and turn it and put another line in the center. Okay, so that's going to give us a flower that's about that big. If we wanted, we could make it, I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger. That's why I like to use a pencil. Okay. I was very careful in the beginning to not use a pencil, but this is art and it's okay. Okay, so I'm going to need that to go all the way out. That. And I'm going to find my eraser and erase these other lines just so they don't confuse me. And these are just a guide anyway, so the rest of the lines will get erased. Okay, hopefully that wasn't confusing. So this is what we're using. Is these lines right here and right here. And we're going to start by putting these, I always wonder what to call these, like a teardrop. And I started a little bit past center up here, and I'm not going all the way up. I'm going to leave some space up here. I'm going to turn it each time and do another little teardrop. Okay. And if you'll notice on here, these are like ribbons going under each other and turning around and around. And this little tip, if you follow that line, excuse me, will match up to that. Okay. Sorry about that. I have a cough drop in my mouth now. Like I say, I think I got a cold from my grandkids. But this tip is going to go to that one. Eventually it will kind of match up, but we're not going to go the whole way. We're just going to go towards that as if it were going to touch it and then stop. And then I'm going to come back over here and aura this one and bring it around and stop at the same place. Okay, and this will become more clear as we do it. Okay, so now this one, this tip should be headed towards that one. So I'm just going to make a slight curve. Okay. Now we're going to go back and do the same thing. We're going to put an aura. And it should match up there. Okay. Turn it. We're going to do the same thing. This tip is going toward that one. And now we're going to do an aura. Trying to make these even, but I rarely do. But it still turns out pretty. And now the last one. This one toward that one. And I have messed this up, so I keep telling myself how to do that right. Okay. This one, remember, it's going to meet there. And this one, I'm going to have it kind of match up to the one that's coming to it. Come around. And those just happened to meet up. I got lucky there. Okay. So now we have that center knot, the way that it's supposed to be. Let's fill these little center parts in. Okay. Now in the very center, we're going to put that orb. So just do your best to make an orb that fills in that center part. Okay. And then we're going to fill in the space here. All right. So now here, we're going to put another orb. If you do them smaller, it's easier to get a little orb in there, but doesn't matter. So I'm just going to do an orb here. And it's okay to leave a little bit of space there. I don't want these outer orbs to be a whole lot bigger than that center one. On this one that I did, see, I had really wide space here, and that's why I put just a little crescent moon type thing on here instead of the whole orb like what's on the others. Okay, so now we're going to add these petals, and I'm going to go to that corner with the first petal. Make it nice and round. Come back in. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. And on this side, you can have it go under a little bit if you want. And then we're going to fill in that extra space. Keep in mind when you're putting a lot of the micron down like this, sometimes it takes a while for it to dry. So try to keep your hands away from that part. The other thing that we're going to do in each of these petals is add little accents. Okay. So here we go again on this one. Fill this in. Add our little accent marks. You could add more in there at the bottom if you want. I'm going to add a little bit more over here just because that's how I like it. Okay. I think this is such a pretty pattern. I've gone through the Gratitanglez list and marked the ones that I want to try. There are some of the patterns that are already on my website or on my YouTube channel because I've done them in videos before. So as I go along, I will put some links in the description of the videos. And if you go to the bottom where the description is, there should be something that says see more. And when you click on that, it'll open up more of the description, and then you'll be able to see any information that I've added about this video. I've tried adding things where you can click in the video itself, but I just haven't figured that out. Okay, so basically that is Nayu, and I went a little bit outside those lines, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm able to teach you how to do this. I'm going to erase those lines. Very softly. And I did try to wait until I thought the ink was dried a little better. All right, so now we're going to do Eyelash. And we're going to try to get this to fit kind of like with 3 pair of these going down the border. So I'm going to start here in this corner, and I'm going to kind of follow that line. Doesn't have to be precise, it's just a guide. So I'm going to make that little curl, come around, and then I'm going to turn, do the same thing here, bring it around, down, kind of follow how this other one was, turn, and start again here. And then just keep repeating that. Probably should have made that a little bit bigger, but I think it's going to work out fine. Okay. And while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and do this much, where we're going to add a little bit of weighting on one side. So let's aura it just a little bit. And then fill it in, but not completely. We're going to leave a little sparkle in each one of these. So let's do that again. You can also add some weighting in here, but I think I'm just going to leave that for now. If you look at her step outs, she does some different things. Just take your time and enjoy it. I had fun doing this, and I was excited about doing the video. And when I started it, it was just so choppy and jittery. And I contacted my cell phone people, and they said, "What? Update my software." Well, that didn't help. And so I got to looking on the internet, and most people said that if your phone was doing that, then the circuits inside the cell phone were going out. So I had to order a new one. I made that kind of long. I know this is a lot of repetition, and you can fast forward or speed it up, whatever is best for you. I'm trying to make it not take too long, but at the same time, if I try to go too fast, then I mess it up. So I leave it to you to adjust the speed if you need to. So I'm hoping that this phone creates good videos. I think this is such a pretty pattern. And I'm really grateful for the Gratitangles and the Inktober tangles because it introduces me to patterns that I didn't know were out there. Yeah, Alice Hendon on her Tangle All Around Facebook group, she's always giving ideas for new patterns to try, and I really appreciate that. I have a couple of her books that are also called, I think it's Tangle All Around. There's one of them anyway. You can also fill this in completely and come back with a jelly roll, a white jelly roll to make that sparkle. Okay. All right. One more row to go. So it finally got cold here. I am in the Houston area, Houston, Texas, USA. And if it's below 70 degrees, I'm cold. Okay. I'm going to admit that. I do not like her to be cold. And it's been in the 50s and 60s. And I know some people will laugh at that, but that's just how it is for me. I like being where it's warm. You can see why I like a 4-inch tile, because I use a lot of space. All right, last one. All right, we did it. Shading. All right, we're going to start in the middle, and I'm going to do each one of these like a little gemstone. First, I'm going to put a little bit of shading at the base of each of these petals and flowers. Okay. And then with my blending stump, I'm just going to soften that a little bit. Bring it out to the edge. Just about to where those little marks end. I'm not going to take it all the way down the flower. Okay. Just soften it. Hopefully you don't have a harsh edge of graphite. And to do a simple gemstone, and you've probably seen me do this before, you're just going to have your orb. And what we want to do is put a little bit of heavy at the top of that orb. And what we're shooting for is to leave kind of a little circle at the bottom. So we're going to soften that. Just bring that down very gently. And don't actually draw that circle. I just wanted to show you that you want to leave that white down there. I kind of went over it. I want to leave an open part down there. So you can go back a little bit, darken this some, and then soften it again so that the darkest part is up here at the top. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. Excuse me. And this is the top of my tile. So I'm going to kind of make that one dark. And then with my blending stump, I'm just going to soften that and leave a white open area. And it doesn't help that my blending stump is kind of fat. But I'm going to go back up here and just darken that a tiny bit. Okay? And I'm going to do that on each of these orbs in here. Just start out kind of dark. And then just gently bring it down. And leave it open there. Okay, just keep going. Oops. Wrong tool. Okay. It's a lot easier to do on big orbs, but you still get some good effects here. Excuse me. I have plenty of graphite on this blending stump, and I'm just going to very lightly add a shadow on each side of these lines where that ribbon is going under the other ribbon. Okay, so there is Nayu. And now on the Ilac, the other one, I forgot to add these. I think it adds a lot to it. So that is simply, we're going to add almost the same kind of drop shape. I'm just going to put it on the outside. I'm not going to put it on the inside. I just think it adds pretty detail. You know, one thing I learned during Inktober is that I am more comfortable doing simple patterns, more comfortable teaching the more simple patterns. There are so many people that do fantastic jobs teaching, like Annika Gavrovic. I can't say her name right. Zen Linear. Oh my gosh, I love what she does. But that's not what I do. I like the simple tiles. So I'm happy to do that. Okay, so I'm just adding graphite now at the bottom of each of these. I forgot to mention, if you wanted to, you could go back and erase that line, but it's not going to show up that much. I can barely see it. But if you made yours darker, you can erase it before you start adding this shading. Okay, so now with my blending stump, I'm going to soften that. And then I'm just going to very gently put a little bit up here at the top. And I want to leave that sparkle there in the center. Now, after you do this, you're going to have enough graphite on your blending stump that you don't have to put any more down there. We just want it to look kind of curved up there at the top. You could put an outline around this and put another pattern in the center between these if you wanted. I've been really anxious to do this video, so I haven't planned another video yet. Had to wait for my iPhone and then transfer data, which always makes me very nervous, but it worked fine. I know some people use regular cameras, but this just seems to work the best for me. I think I need a new blending stump. This one never goes, it won't stay pointed. That's the word I'm looking for. It keeps going flat. Okay, I'm curious how this would look if we made these dark. I want to try it here first. I don't know. Let's do it. Let's play what if. What if we fill these in? How's that going to look? I've been working on a card to give to someone as a birthday gift. And it's kind of a feather with Zentangle patterns in it. And I guarantee I do a lot of what if. What if I add this pattern? What if I add that pattern? I think darkening these in will add some nice drama. Yeah, I like it. Remember that you're doing this for yourself. Now, if you happen to be doing something where you're being paid to do it, that's another thing. But the Zentangle method is for you, to help you understand that you're an artist. I took art in high school, but I didn't really do much with it after high school. But I used to copy art that I had seen because I had a hard time visiting something and trying to draw it. So when Zentangle come around and it had the step outs, I was just so happy. I like how that looks. What do you think? Okay, I'm going to, I think I'll split my chop here this time. All right. Oops. There we go. So Nayu and Ilac. What's it? Nayu and Ilac. There we go. Well, I enjoyed that. I hope you did too. I'm not sure which of the Gratitangles I will be doing next. I've just decided to do what I really like for the next few videos. And again, if you do this, use the Gratitanglez, it's a Z at the end, hashtag. And in the Facebook group, you can find the patterns. And at this website, alicehendon.blogspot.com, you can also find the list. And I will have some links in the description. Thank you. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be doing my videos again. And if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to my videos or to my channel. And as always, if you're inclined, I 100,000% appreciate the donations that I've received through the coffee.com link that's in the description. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. It's Friday for me. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye.